everybody, Shayla here. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a Gmail email account. So Gmail is a Google-owned email service. Email is what allows you to send electronic messages to others. You can attach documents and pictures in it as well. And it also comes with some services like Google Drive. Google Drive is an online storage space. Google Docs. It's like Word but online, and a few limited services, Google Photos, stuff like that. And of course, Gmail is not the only email service. You can also sign up for it on Outlook or Yahoo, are two other big ones, and they offer similar services with their accounts as well. So if this isn't for you, I would recommend checking out some of those. So let's check it out. All right, so we're going to start here with a window in Google Chrome. If you do decide to use Google Chrome as your web browser, I would definitely recommend having a Gmail account being your main email account, because Google Chrome integrates a lot of things with a Gmail account into it. So I'm just going to type gmail.com. And it's going to tell us to sign in. So because we don't have an account yet, we're going to hit create account for myself. So now here is the create your Google account page. So basically you just fill in whatever is here. So we're going to do a first name and a last name. And you also need a username to put before the @gmail.com. @gmail.com is the domain name. So you can do pretty much anything for your username. A lot of people will usually suggest using like your first initial, last name, and maybe a couple letters, because it needs to be unique and nobody else can have that. So in order for it to work. And you also need a password. So the password needs to be at least 8 or more characters, and it needs to be a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. It's very important that you remember your password, because if you do not remember your password and you don't have a phone number that it can double check with to make sure that it's actually you, it is very, very, very difficult to recover it. So I would recommend definitely writing it down somewhere. Just keep track of it. So I'm just going to make something up. Hit next. And okay, that username is taken. And if it's taken, it will suggest stuff that isn't taken. So we're going to hit next. And so, yeah, here is where you can put in your phone number. And I would recommend, if you are comfortable with that, I would recommend doing it, because if you do forget your password, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to reset it if you do not have it. I cannot stress this enough. So I'm just going to put in the library's phone number here. And you can also put in a recovery email address. So if you already have another email address, or like it's the email address or of like a trusted friend or family member, you can put that in there. And I'll just put in my email. And that will also make it easier to recover your password if you don't have a phone number. And it requires a birthday. And hit next. And okay, so it'll verify your phone number to make sure. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to bother the front desk. So this is Google's privacy and terms. So it's the terms of service, and it'll also have a privacy policy. So this is basically a short and sweet version of what Google is going to do with your data. So they do store the information that they give you, but you do have control over what kind of things that they store and what they use it for. So I'm just going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. I would definitely recommending reading this whole thing through if security and if knowing what they're doing with your data is important to you. If you go to more options, you can customize your Google experience by selecting what they're allowed to save and why. So under more options, you have web and app activity. that will, if you hit don't save it, it will not save your history. Go down to ads personalization. Google will not be able to, if you hit show me ads that aren't personalized, it won't be able to use your activity in order to send you targeted ads. YouTube history, you can turn that off as well. And you can also hit it to send occasional reminders about the settings. So, it'll be like, hey, you're not saving this. Do you want to change that or otherwise? So I'm just going to hit I agree. And you do have to agree in order to get a Google account. So we're just going to hit next. And you can choose how the layout is. I'm just going to hit default. And so here we are. This is the main Gmail page. This is your inbox right here. And this is where your messages are going to show up. So this new message is from the Google community team. And so they're just saying, welcome to Google, all of the apps that you can do from Google. I'm going to go over that a little bit later, and my account. So I'm just going to go back here. And so on the left side, we have all of the different places that emails can go. There's starred, which if you star a message, if you have something important, you can star it and it'll show up here. Sent is where your sent messages are. Drafts are going to be where your messages that you have started to write but you have not sent yet. That's where they're going to go. And under more, there's important. You can also, in addition to starring something, you can also mark it as important. Chats is like an instant messaging system. You can do that with your contacts. We don't have any yet, so there's nothing up here. Scheduled, you can schedule an email to go out. All mail, that's going to show everything. And spam is going to be messages that, like, the email has like a filter. And so if it detects something that is scammy or like trying to get your money, it's going to put it in spam. They're not always perfect. So sometimes if you have an account somewhere and you're trying to reset your password, sometimes the emails will end up in here. So I would recommend checking that periodically, especially right after you reset something, just to make sure that nothing important gets in there. So let's try composing an email. So I'm just going to hit this. And this is the new message window. If you want to make it bigger, you can click this. So up here is going to be where you put the recipients. So I'm going to put in my email. And there are also these two letters up here. CC stands for carbon copy. So if you're CCing somebody, so you can send them to those people as well. BCC is blind carbon copy. So if you are sending an email to someone and then want to send it to someone else, but you don't want the other person to know that you send it to someone else, you can put them there. BCC is especially good when you are sending out like a newsletter or something to like a whole bunch of people. That way, not everybody can read other people's email addresses and stuff. And so the subject line is what's going to show up when a new email pops up in somebody's account. So you want to make sure that you kind of describe like what this is about. So this is a test. I'm just going to say test. So we're going to click here. And this is the body of the message, so you can just type a message there. So that is all set. So let's just say that we want to attach something. Go down to this paperclip, and now we can send stuff. So I'm just going to go into documents, and I'm going to send myself a sheet of spine labels. So how you know that's attached is you see it right there, the title of the document right there. You can click on it if you want to open it up, and that's how big it is, and that will remove it if you click that. So that is how you do that, and the same works with pictures. Basically, that's just how you attach a file. And so you can also insert files directly from your drive from here. I don't have anything in my Google Drive right now, so I'll do that later. Emojis. And you can edit a link. So you can send somebody a link to a web page from there if you would like. So this is confidential mode. So this means that people who receive it won't have the option to forward, copy, print, or download this email. You can set an expiration for confidential mode to turn off, or you can require a passcode in order to access it. So that's pretty cool. You can insert a signature, which is like a little thing on the bottom of that goes on the bottom of the email that basically has like your name. Usually that signatures are common in like work emails. It'll have like your name, your contact information, who you are, basically. And it looks like you can also send money through Google Pay as well through an email. So that's pretty cool as well. So, and finally, send. You click that and it'll send. If you hit the little arrow next to the send, you can schedule it to send at a certain time. There. So I'm just going to hit send and message sent. Let's just check in sent to make sure it went, and it went. Oh, and also, by the way, if an email message has an attachment, it's going to show up right below the subject line. So that's that. And once you select, if you hover over a message, you can archive it, which means it basically gets put away. You can delete it, which means you delete it. You can mark it as unread, or you can snooze it, which means that it's going to show up in the snoozed file. And the star is here. So if it's important, you can star it. That's about what I have for the basics of operating the Gmail portion of Google. I'll be doing some other videos on some of the other facets like Google Drive, Google Docs, how to control your privacy options and stuff through your Google account. So look out for those. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful and informative, and I'll see you in the next video.